Welcome, virtual yogis. My name is Jennifer. Welcome to Gentle Yoga. Today we're going to do a little practice, opening up the heart space, finding some love and gratitude within yourself. Today's practice, we're going to get started down on the mat. And so coming to find yourself either on your mat, or perhaps you're on a carpet and you might want to put a blanket down. And we're going to come down onto the back. And extending the legs long for a moment. And coming to find a supine position. Hands can be out at the sides. Begin to take notice of how you feel your breath landing in your body this morning. Nothing to change. Just building an awareness of how you feel the breath moving in the body. If this feels uncomfortable for your low back at all, take and bend the knees, place the feet on the mat, and then just internally rotate your knees, and taking some pressure off the low back. And taking note that everything cued today is just an option, an opportunity to explore. I'm here as a guide. Let yourself truly be your own teacher. And over the next few breath cycles, invite your breath to lengthen on your inhale. Soften on your exhale. Soften on your inhale. And lengthen on your exhale. Inviting your breath to become soft and smooth. On your next inhale, in your mind, counting 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, I am pure. Exhale, I am love. I am pure. I am love. Continue with this mantra in your own mind. Perhaps the mantra is just pure love. And I invite you to carry this mantra through your whole practice, perhaps carrying into your day or the rest of the week, wherever you're at. And I encourage you to stay here working with the breath cycle, or if you'd like to begin adding some movement into the body, taking the hands and placing them out to the sides. Eyes can still be closed. Slowly begin to wave the knees towards the right. Gaze shifts to the left. Nice and slow, slowly shifting back to center. Knees gently wave to the left, gaze shifts towards the right. Maybe even 5 or so seconds to come back to center. Maybe your mantra guides you. Slowly wave your knees to the right. I am pure land. Coming to center. I am love. And wave. I am pure. I am love. Perhaps this becomes a moving meditation, warming up the spine. And activating the water chakra. Fluid movement. And eventually landing back at neutral. Hands can come back along the sides. They don't have to be right along the sides, perhaps a little bit away from the body. Palms face down for a feeling of grounding, connection. Palms face up for a feeling of open receiving. And we'll begin to warm up the pelvis with some pelvic tilts. Bring your attention to your pelvis. Maybe even the hands draw over the pelvis, a little bit of a massage, noting where we're moving from. And so the pelvis is staying grounded on the mat as you slowly begin to tilt your pelvis forward. Little mini arch through the low back. Nice, luxurious, slow release. Perhaps this is your moving meditation. Slowly tilt the pelvis forward and release. Continuing to open the heart space, slowly tilt the pelvis forward. Shoulders gently press back in the mat, lifting the heart. Holding this for a few breath cycles. What's the right amount of effort to maintain the breath? And slowly release. Drawing in, tilt the pelvis forward. Notice the lower lumbar flatten into your mat or space here, and slowly release. And tilt the pelvis forward, adding on, shoulders draw up. Now we're in a bit of a mini curl, and slowly release. Wave the knees from side to side, and we're going to open up the heart once more. And just release the low back by waving the knees from side to side a few times. And come back to set up in neutral, maybe even walking the feet forward and back a few times. Let the feet land in a place that feels comfortable. And then coming through again, slowly tilting the pelvis forward, shoulders draw back into the mat, lift through the heart space. Back side of the body gently contracts. Front side of the body yawns open. And slowly melt back into your space. Fluid movement, vertebrae by vertebrae. And we're going to come into a seated position, but take your time. Maybe the knees wave from side to side first. Rolling off to the side. And take your strong arms and push yourself up into your seat. Legs cross. Maybe even rock from side to side to start feeling the bottom part of your sits bones. We'll continue to find that. Slowly begin to tilt forward on your pelvis. Slowly begin to rock back. Eventually find a place to land that feels nice and supported on the base, bottom part of the pelvis. Lengthen from there through the top of the head. Lift through the heart. And from here, let your natural spine have some agency in this posture. So let go just a little bit. Honor the natural curve of your beautiful spine. Palms face up for a feeling of receiving Sukhasana. 3 breath cycles here, lifting through the heart space. Grounded, stable, open. And let's come through Dandasana. Send the legs long. Feet are flexed back towards the nose. Point and flex the feet a few times. Maybe roll through the ankles. Take the hands and place them out to the sides. If the bottom of your hand doesn't reach the mat, just tent the fingers. Land. Lift through the heart. Lift the crown of the head. Press the thighs back into the mat. Dandasana. Let's do 3 more breath cycles here in Dandasana. And slowly release. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands to heart center. Anjali Mudra. 3 sun breaths. Inhale, reach. Exhale, settle the shoulder blades down the back of the spine. Lubrication to the shoulder blades, lifting through the heart. Reach. And draw it in. I forgot which one we're on, so let's do another. Inhale, reach. Exhale, draw the hands into heart center. Perhaps the eyes gently close. Set an intention for the rest of your class. Perhaps it's just sending yourself some love for showing up for your practice today. Perhaps sending some love to a family member, friend, perhaps the greater community or the world. Knowing that intention may shift or grow, become something new. Coming into a lateral side bend, take your right hand and place it on the mat. Perhaps the fingers tent if your bottom of your palm doesn't reach. Inhale, left arm reaches high. Lengthen through the spine. Exhale, bend, gaze lifts. And maybe if you tilt a little bit, that's okay. Perhaps you're feeling really bendy already and you come down onto the elbow. Lengthening through the intercostal muscles, reaching, maybe rolling through the wrists. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, switch. You may notice 2 sides are not the same. That's pretty common. Give yourself grace wherever you're at today. Let's flow with this. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend. Inhale, reach. And flow. And then become creative with your movement. Maybe move in a way that feels different. Essentially, the spine is just shifting from side to side. Maybe become fun and playful with your hands, dancing. Heart lifted, open, receiving. And coming back to center, hands land. Let's come through a forward fold. You can have a little bit of bend in the knee. You can also take the feet wide if you want to create more space to fold and let the belly land. It's up to you, your practice. Point and flex the feet a few times. Find your sits bones. Lengthen through the spine. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hinge through your hips first. Nice long spine. When the spine can stay long no more, then continue to fold and round. Hands land where they land. And honor your body wherever it's at. Back side of heart opening. Coming through half lift. Inhale, slide the hands up the shins, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Let's flow through this a few times. Inhale, half lift, coming through your Dandasana variation. Exhale, fold. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Maybe the hands reach out to the sides. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold and round. 1 more. Half lift. And land, opening up. Backside, heart. 4 breath cycles. What's the right amount of effort to maintain your breath? I am pure. I am love. Next, inhale, lift. Shift the legs off to the side. We're going to come into tabletop. If you have a blanket available, you can put it underneath your knees. I like that option. For me, it just feels luxurious to have a blanket. Give yourself some cushion and support. Wrists are landing underneath your shoulders. Knees land underneath your pelvis. Stable tabletop. Nice long spine from your tailbone through the crown of the head. And the top of the feet can press into the mat. Also, the toes can tuck into the mat. So you decide what feels good for your practice, your space. We'll continue to open that heart gently, slowly begin to tilt the pelvis forward. Shoulders come through retraction, heart space is moving towards the mat, and then the gaze lifts. Hold this open cow pose. 3 breath cycles, Bitilasana. Maybe the eyes even close. Your next exhale, slowly, as if you're beginning to push the mat away, tuck the pelvis towards the heart. Crown of the head drawing towards the mat, arching through the spine, cat pose. 3 breath cycles. Majriyasana. Maybe stillness isn't where it's at for you today. Maybe you shift from side to side through the shoulders or the hips. You decide, your practice, your space. And we'll slowly begin to flow with the breath. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Move with your own breath. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And perhaps become as creative, as fluid with this movement as feels good for your practice. What feels good for your body? Move in a way that feels fun, playful, lighthearted, perhaps even moving through the cervical spine or the neck, the gaze shifting side to side. Making this a dance, lighthearted, carefree, fun, playful movement. Maybe even thinking of something that just makes your heart happy. Finding that space of joy. On your own time, come back to your stable tabletop. Slowly send the pelvis back, child's pose. Walk the hands forward. Forehead lands on the mat, perhaps stacked fists or stacked hands. Knees could even draw out a bit wider, creating more space for the diaphragm to move. And breathe. 5 breath cycles, child's pose. Next, inhale, tabletop. And maybe rinse through a few pelvic tilts here. I'm going to walk the hands, one handprint ahead. Shift the weight of the shoulders over the wrists, coming into plank on knees. And find a nice long spine here. Maybe you even shift from side to side. And then we'll flow through this a few times. Take an inhale. Exhale, shifting back towards child's pose, maybe about halfway. Inhale, plank on knees. Exhale, child's. And again, just coming maybe halfway through child's. And then find your own breath pace. Move at a pace that feels good for you. Perhaps you let go of the breath cycles altogether in these movements. And just move slow, continuing to breathe in a way that feels supportive. Option to grow this as you find yourself back in child's pose. Inhale, plank. I am pure. Exhale, child's pose. I am love. And keep flowing. I am pure. Move it through your body. I am love. Option to land and plank on knees, breathing for 5 breath cycles. Option to land in child's pose. Where's your practice today? Just breathe. Next, exhale wherever you're at, tabletop. And let's hold tabletop. 3 breath cycles, nice long spine. And then if you have your blanket under your knees, just go ahead and remove the blanket. Come back to your tabletop. We're going to come down onto the belly. Walk the hands one handprint ahead. Core movement coming down. Shift again into your plank on knees. Slowly bend through the elbows. Nice and slow. Come down onto the belly. We're going to set up for Sphinx. Feet are about hips width distance apart. Come through crocodile pose. Letting the forehead land on stacked hands. The feet are about hips width distance apart. Shimmy the pelvis from side to side to loosen up the low back. And then just settle into this crocodile pose. Slowly, one by one, just remove your hands and let your forehead land on the mat. And breathe here for a moment. Imagine as if a magnet is drawing up the back side of the heart. On your next inhale, slowly begin to lift with the heart first. And continue to lift. Crown of the head is in line with the rest of the spine. Elbows begin to land underneath the shoulders. Hands draw in front as if you're holding a block. Toes are pointed. From here, you can gently tap the pubis bone into the mat. Fire up the quads, the calves, Sphinx pose. Lifting the heart. Five more breath cycles. And what's just the right amount of effort to maintain your meditation, maintain your breath? And if this feels like too much at any time, maybe the head just gently shifts from side to side. And slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, release. Let the forehead land back on stacked hands. Draw the feet up towards the ceiling with the feet flexed. Reverse windshield wipers, prone. Slowly wave the knees or the feet from side to side. Imagine the fluid entering your hip sockets, healing and restoring. And coming back through Sphinx pose. Option to be here if you like this fluid, wave-like water movement. Just stay here, explore this, give your hips some love. Coming back to find Sphinx. Forehead starts on the mat. Next inhale, slowly lift through the heart. Right before the belly starts to take over and push, that may be your landing spot. Elbows land underneath the shoulders. Imagine as if you're framing a block. Five breath cycles, Sphinx pose. Option to gently tap the pubis bone into the mat, firing up the glutes and the quads. Option from here, you could even just ever so gently lift through the heart. this time, release, draw the hands overhead as if you're diving into the water. Let it all go. Wave the hips from side to side. Maybe the whole body kind of shifts from side to side. On your own time, hands sweep back, pushing your body back into a tabletop. Rinse through the spine. Creative movement. Moving in any way that would feel good. And we are going to come to stand through down dog. Option to come to stand in any way that would feel better. Walk the hands one handprint ahead. Tuck the toes. Inhale. Exhale. Sending the pelvis up towards the ceiling. And take a little walk. Bend one knee at a time. Eventually finding some length through the spine, from your tailbone all the way through about your cervical spine. It's okay to have some nice bend in the knee. Coming into forward fold, take an inhale. Exhale, slowly walk your hands back to your feet. And landing in forward fold, bend and straighten the knees a few times from here. And let's come through ragdoll. Take hold of the elbows, if it's available, and gently wave from side to side. And fluid movement here. Coming through half lift, hands land on the mat. Perhaps they're landing on your shin. Just be where you're at today. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, placing the hands on the top part of the shins, halfway lift. 5 breath cycles here. What's the right amount of effort to maintain your breath? Maybe the knees need to bend and straighten a few times with this half lift. Perhaps the hands reach back, palms face up like you're flying. Next exhale, fold. Coming to stand, generous bend in the knees. Lengthen the spine first. Let's use the strong bums to come up. Inhale, reach up high. Exhale, hand to heart. Let's take a slow walk to the front of the mat. May even take 30 seconds to walk to the front of the mat, giving your feet a massage on the way. Perhaps the eyes close. Hands come out to the sides. Balance challenge. Maybe the heart space really lifts and opens as you walk. Palms open, receiving. And landing at the front of the mat. Give yourself a little space. Three half sun salutations. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hinge through the hips. Nice long spine first. When the spine can stay long, no more. Then continue to fold. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Bend through the knees, lengthen the spine. Inhale, reach up high. Use your strong glutes and quads reaching you up high. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's go through 3 more, moving with our own beautiful breath cycles. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Heart open. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, lengthen the spine. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, draw the hands into the heart. Anjali Mudra. 2 more. Now go off on your own, moving at whatever pace feels good. Perhaps pausing in any shape that feels good. And after we've all landed at the front of the mat, just take a little shift from side to side. And come to stand. Inhale, reach, become expansive. Gaze lifts, heart opens. Exhale, tuck and round, draw it in, give yourself a big hug. Inhale, open. Perhaps the arm switches on this pass. Tuck and round, giving yourself a big hug. Inhale, open. Exhale, hug. We'll go through a few more. And then let yourself decide where you're going to land. Maybe you land giving yourself a great big hug. Perhaps you land open, expansive, ready to receive all the gifts from the universe. No way is the wrong way. I often like to tuck in and give myself a hug. And then we're going to land, so let yourself decide where is the right space for you to land today. Land. I am pure. I am love. On your own time, making your way in onto the mat, coming into Shavasana in any shape that feels supportive. It could be coming back to prone on the belly. You may want to take your Shavasana on your back with all the limbs extended. And I'll come down with you for a moment just to demonstrate. We'll go through a bit of a tense and release practice for a few breaths before entering our full Shavasana. If this feels too hard on your low back, if you're on the back, just take, again, bend through the knees, place the feet on the mat. You could do that internal rotation with the knees. Option to melt in here, option to join me in a tense and release practice. From here, drawing all the muscles into the bone, tensing up all the muscles in the body, making a fist, maybe even tensing the face, drawing all that tension, and then release. Like the floodgate of the heart opens, letting it all go and dissipate. into space to be recycled, renewed. Option to come through 2 more times. Tense, draw it all in. Any frustration or agitation, make space for that by drawing it in and holding it. And then slowly let it all go. Maybe you move into Shavasana now. Perhaps you go through one more. Letting go of any stickiness, heaviness. Welcoming in bright, open, airy joy and love into the heart. Be here, and I'll call you back when it's time. Honoring your space and where you're at today, I invite you to stay in Shavasana for as long as you wish. And if you're ready to come back into the day, bringing any movements into the body that would feel good, and making your way onto your sides, slowly coming into a seated position. I do encourage you, as you are in your own space, perhaps leading yourself through a bit of an open heart meditation, coming back to that mantra, I am pure, I am love. Maybe you create your own. And if you've met me at seated, taking your hands and placing them to the heart center, maybe press the hands together, find some rebound, and then press the hands into the heart. And taking a bow to seal in your practice. And I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day wherever you're at today. Take care.